First of all, you have a very cool hat that we cannot forget about. You're officially in the Skywatch Task Force.
Yes.
But that thing next to it is a thermal.
So this is
camera.
a thermal imaging camera.
Yeah.
Right. So this is something that I use to help identify the drone, if it's a drone or if it's a plane.
Right.
To distinguish that, so it can see at night.
I want to show the audience here one of the images that you say may be a drone. Why? Why would you say that this image is probably a drone?
Yeah, so it had no lights. The camera picked it up. You could not see with the naked eye, and it's shaking because I had the zoom on full, but it was hovering. It was not moving. It was in one spot.
Okay, but let's show this other image of a flock. It looks like a flock of birds, right? A lot of people have been reporting that these drones were clustering, that they were flying together.
Yes.
What is this?
So those are a flock of birds. At first, I thought they might be drones because
They're actually a flock of birds.
They're actually a flock of birds. I watched them for about 30 to 40 seconds, and they flew off, and I kind of got attracted to them, just see where they would go. But after analyzing the video for some time, they are a flock of birds. They're not drones.
Yeah, and there were planes that you saw. I mean, so what's your bottom line here? I mean, I think two things. One, clearly, now that everybody is aware of this, everybody's looking up and they're seeing lights.
Yes.
What do you think writ large is happening here?
So I think there is something going on. We don't know what is going on. I think there are drones. I have seen some drones with this. They're small personal drones. I know that people have been reporting large objects, like car size. I haven't seen those yet, not saying they don't exist. But right now, this task force was created basically to get an answer for our community because we're not getting an answer anywhere else. No one's answering us. And we reached out and we're just like, hey, so we're going to do it ourselves. And so the community, we're empowering them to join us on these night watches, to send us information when they see it. We'll help identify it. We're logging it. We're putting GPS coordinates in there. We use flight tracking applications, so we can point up the sky and go, yep, that's a United flight. That's confirmed. We'll look through the thermal camera as well, because one thing that's really interesting, when you see planes flying in the distance, especially where I live out in Mendham, we have 3 big airports near us. We have small airports like Morristown. It's really hard to see in the night sky that they're planes, because they all look low to the ground, but they're coming in for landing, or they're far away, or they're putting their landing lights on. This, without a doubt, can see through those lights that the planes have blinking, and you can see it's a plane or it's something else.
Yeah, we're showing an image of, what is
Yes.
it? Very clearly, a plane.
A plane. So there was these planes were over 10 miles away in the beginning, and I actually thought, and I have a video here, I actually thought that they were drones. It's like, yeah, I got some. And I watched them, and they did everything that they're supposed to do as drones would do. They were hovering, they were just staying side by side. And then I waited, and they started getting closer, and they got close enough for the thermal camera to pick it up, and I could see that they were planes.
I think it's so interesting how there was all this fervor, and then the story kind of disappeared from the headlines. And I don't know. I mean, does anyone have any theories?
You say
about
that in
why
a conspiratorial way.
No, I just think that there was a lot of speculation. We know now. There were people talking about Iranian ships off of the East Coast. I mean, that is not happening. There's no evidence of that. And so now that those theories have gone away, people have just stopped talking about it.
I think my friends in New Jersey are still talking about it. I mean, we still are wondering what the heck it was, because what they saw, like near the shore especially, they know the plane traffic fairly well in their area, and they could tell these things were massive. The videos I saw were crazy. And by the way, just because they haven't flown over Mendham doesn't mean they haven't flown elsewhere. And you have literally public officials, like that mayor in New Jersey, saying that we had lost a radioactive device, a potential nuke, and that they think that those were sniffing it out. The government needed much better PR on this and get out quicker. Absolutely. And the fact they didn't, it's on them.
But I also think that there is, I mean, we have to be a little bit more humble here. As Chris has experienced, you see something with your naked eye and you think, oh, that thing is huge, it's hovering, it's a drone. but it's not. Sometimes, maybe much of the time, it's not.
And that's the challenge, right, of the see something, say something, and this broader environment of fear if you see something, the anxiety that people are just feeling across generations right now, where everything is suspicious if it's different. One of the challenges I think we had in identifying what this really is, it is so different than how the Chinese balloon incident went down, but we had one firm government in power, sworn in administration. I think seeing this lame duck session, this is one of those situations where could have gotten more clarity and information from our national security officials if they were, deeply engaged and not trying to navigate what comes next.
So Chris, some of your colleagues on the task force
Yes.
do believe in the UFOs of it all.
I think that we all
Right.
believe that there's something out there. It's not. I'm gonna because in what I do with the wildlife, if I know there's a rare animal, I'll take a picture of it, and then before I go public with it, I'll verify it first. I'll get some experts to look at it. Social media is not helping here because people take a picture with their phone, and all of a sudden it's like the sky's full of drones, and then everyone starts to get nervous about that, and they should be nervous. I can't blame them for being nervous, especially when there are no answers from our elected officials.
So just to be clear, you all and your group have not seen any large drones,
Some on our team have.
like very large ones.
Not recently. They haven't seen the very large ones, but they have seen groups of what they feel are drones. They've explained that. They've documented where they are. This group started pretty recently. This is really proactive of our mayor. I'm really happy to be part of this group. So I'm just getting out there in the past few days. We just started documenting all of this. So we're hoping to run into these. I really want to see one of these because that'll be really cool. It'll do great for my Instagram.
I would like to see
Here's what you
the
won't be
SUV size.
here's what you won't be seeing. There's a brand of drone that was the most common and popular hobbyist drone, DJI, and they're a China-based company. Congress recently banned their use in the U.S. And part of that is because Chinese-owned companies have access to the data that travels on these drones. So that is one of the concerns about having unspecified drones in the air is understanding what information and what's being collected on the American people.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
they also admitted some were law enforcement.
Well, yes, certainly.
And so
yes.
which
I would also like to know what
might be a
information
big
they are
catch-all, yeah.
We just really
Katie, last word.
Yeah, this to me just goes back to a failure by the government on the higher level to give a clear answer to people. If they could go to Congress and give them the classified briefing, and they said the members of Congress were okay with that, how much of that is so classified and so important that you can't tell the citizens so they don't have a war of the worlds? Everybody thinks there's UFOs, and alien abductions happening. We really should have had clarity for everyone and helped put this to rest a long time ago.
I think that's